So this story is called The Carjacker. Now, I did do The Carjacker. I think I did it on my TikTok, but I can't remember if I did. But this is going to be the longer, more detailed version. So, to start off, I believe it was just after Black Friday, beginning of December, long before I got COVID. There was this couple that came up to my register. I was on register 12 helping out, and it was the end of the night. We were literally just about to close, and they were my last customers. Anyone who works in retail knows that feeling of it is, let's say, 9:59, and as soon as the clock strikes 10, all the customers are gone. You need them gone. They're gone. And maybe you do a little bit of cleanup, 30 minutes, an hour, and you get to go home. You're relishing that sweet chance to go home. You feel it in your soul. The last customers of the night, that good feeling, come up to my register. Well, it's about 5 minutes before closing. These two come up. One is a man who, he immediately, from what I noticed, he had like a big wrist brace on his arm. It didn't look like a normal cast. It looked like a wrist brace, but it went from his palm all the way up to his elbow. And I could visibly see staples and stitches. I think it was both. But I could see like he had obviously had some trauma to his hand, because all right here in the web of his hand was sliced up and was being held together. The lady looked normal. Okay, totally normal. She didn't seem injured at all. So it was just the man and the lady. I ring up their few things, and then their big thing is a heater, and they start kind of arguing with me over the price. And it turns out they bought the wrong heater. They wanted one that's a little bit bigger and does a little more rotation. So the lady runs back to hardware. She comes back. Now, here's where things get interesting. The lady starts telling me how, it's her brother and her, and I'm just going to call them brother and sister for the story. Sister starts telling me how they live in a converted garage, and it gets so cold at night, and I think she mentioned she had a titanium pelvis from a car accident, and she has rods in, I think, either her leg or her spine. She also, I think, had metal in her shoulder as well. So when she got cold, it settled into her freaking bones, and she was freezing. So she needed to be warm, especially during this cold time right now. Because the Central Valley where I live gets effing cold. Like, it could be 98 fucking degrees at noon and 20 fucking degrees by 6 p.m. It gets bad. I swear, I can't make this up. So she's telling me about that and all the metal in her body, and then her brother chimes in. Brother looks me dead in the eye, and he says, and I quote, "Yeah, it's actually kind of worse now. I know how she feels because I've got a bunch of metal in my body. I got stabbed the other night, and I have staples and shit all in my stomach and all in my hand." Pause, pause, pause that fucking statement. Pause that statement right there. And I actually genuinely held up my hands and said, "Sir, did you just say what I think you just said?" Now, my coworker, who didn't have any customers, was over here on register 14. She's just looking at me, and I look back at her, and I'm like, "You heard that too, right?" And I looked at him and said, "Sir, did you just say you were stabbed the other day?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." And he proceeds to tell me, half cheerfully, "Yeah, the other night I was on Kansas and 9th, and I was, getting in my car, and I got carjacked." And the sister chimes in, by the way, and goes, "It was not Kansas and 9th, it was Kansas and Carpenter." I'm like, I straight up said, "Are you two really gonna argue over where he got stabbed and carjacked over the fact he was stabbed and carjacked? I can't make this shit up. People are effing wild." So he goes, "Okay, you have a point. But yeah, I was getting in my car, and I told them, 'You're not getting my frickin' car.'" Now, let me pause that for just a second. Anyone who has ever been a victim of a violent crime knows this. Actually, this is for all my ladies out there. You know how it feels to walk home at night with a pocket knife in your purse and pepper spray wrapped on your wrist with your keys in between your fingers in case you gotta gouge someone's eyes out. You all know how it feels. They want your wallet, you give them your wallet. They want your car, you give them the car. They want, in an alley, you give it to them and then run to the police. Seriously, if somebody wants something and they have a knife or a gun, and you are not some jujitsu Muay Thai expert who's gonna take that shit from them, give them what they want, go to the cops. Straight up. Anyone who has ever had a goddamn vagina knows this. So, there we go. He tells me I wasn't letting them get my car, so the guy stabbed me. I was able to block it with my hand, which was how he got all the wounds in his hand, and he had stitches all the way up. And then the guy got away and stabbed him in the gut and just sliced up his stomach. He had to go to the hospital. He had just gotten out, and he had all kinds of metal now in his gut. They got their heater. They went home, and me and my coworker looked at each other like, why would you tell people that? Like, look, there's things I can understand. If you get a bloody nose at my job, or you walk into like a display and you get hurt, that's one thing telling me. But telling me you've been stabbed, and the saddest fucking part of this, which is going to lead me into a technical third story time part, is this. He is not the first person to inform me he's been stabbed or shot. This leads me into a second part of that. A few years ago, when I worked at the 99-cent store, I had a regular, this very nice lady. She lived in the same area I did. And now, I lived 20 minutes from the store by walk. So I would walk to work every single day. On New Year's Eve, this woman was stabbed in the parking lot of a grocery store that I lived right behind by a homeless person. And she came to me a couple weeks later, and while she was at my register, she lifted up her goddamn shirt and showed me the stab wounds in her gut. This homeless person had taken a big-ass serrated knife and stabbed her in the gut, trying to rob her, and left. Like it was nothing. I'm like, why would you show me that? People, I don't know why they do this. Do they do this to traumatize the cashiers? And then there was the dude who told me about him getting shot. Now, okay, I kind of started this on this was something I did on accident. I shouldn't have told him about this, but I was wearing a semi-low-cut shirt the day I rung this man up. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a tattoo of a bullet hole in the middle of my chest. It's based on the Bon Jovi song, Shot Through the Heart. I got it after an ex. We won't talk about it. But I have the bullet hole. And the guy clearly sees the bullet hole. I don't know if you can see it too well. But the shirt's kind of low cut, so you can see it. And he goes, yo, is that a bullet hole tattoo? I'm like, yeah, I got it after an ex broke my heart. It was based on a Bon Jovi song, yada, yada, yada. He goes, that's cool. I have a bullet hole tattoo as well, except I got it because I got shot there. Lifts up his damn shirt, shows me the scar from the bullet hole, and the bullet hole tattoo covering it. Ladies and gentlemen of the freaking court, what the fuck? Why would you go showing strangers that? By the way, given where the tattoo was, why were you just looking there? Like, did you really have to? I know the shirt was kind of low cut, but it was only semi-low cut. You couldn't see the whole tattoo. But clearly you saw enough that you could see my bullet hole. Some days I regret that. Thank you guys so much for joining me for Retail Horror Stories / story time today. I hope you did enjoy those stories, and I'm really sorry if some of them got graphic or a little violent. Yeah, some of the stuff that you find out from working in retail can get a little crazy. So, I'm glad you all enjoyed it. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next week. I am starting to post a little bit more, so I think things are going to pick up. However, I will still drop my social media, like for instance my TikTok. I am on TikTok daily. I promise you, there I post daily. If you want to see more absolutely ridiculous content, I swear, shit just kind of happens to me, and I just kind of roll with it, and I say some stupid things. Believe me, you'll hear them as I go. But I'm so grateful for you all. Give me a like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to tell me a retail horror story you have in the comments. I love hearing them. It's one of my favorite topics to listen to. Horror stories, crazy story times. I love them. And I hope to bring you more story times that aren't entirely retail themed. There will be some crazy ones. There will be a lot of different projects, but thank you guys so much for watching. And I love and appreciate every single one of you that likes, comments, subscribes, follows me. And I will see you all very soon. Stay safe, be kind, love yourself, love others. And that'll about do it. Thank you guys so much. Bye.